Through 6 rounds, the race for the 2011 250 Championship is the sole property of the riders under the Pro Circuit Kawasaki tent. Baggett, Rattray, and Wilson each look to add their name to the list of greats that have raced and won titles for the sport's most successful team. Only 6 more rounds stand in between adding another #1 plate to the Pro Circuit hauler.
We're in Millville, Minnesota to kick off the second half of the 2011 Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship in the 250 class. It's the Spring Creek Motocross National. Hello everyone, Jason Wygant, of course, joined by 4-time AMA National Champion Jeff Emig for Speed's continuing coverage of the 250 class of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Yes, here at round 7, we are starting the second half of our 12-race tour. But the story through the first half, it has been all about the Kawasaki riders. You see our big picture storylines, a trio of monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki boys, Tyler Rattray, Dean Wilson, Blake Baggett. They have won every single race so far this year. So as we go to the second half, the big question is, can anyone else on any other team break through and challenge those flying green Kawasaki's? Well, they weren't able to do it in practice. Tyler Rattray in the 28 machine was the fastest rider in time qualifying today. So certainly the veteran from South Africa has put himself on the board as the one to beat. So Jeff, let's swing it over to you. Spring Creek is a track that a lot of riders identify as their favorite. What is it about this track that's so challenging yet so fun at the same time?
Well, there's a few different factors, Jason. One being the soil, kind of a sandy clay here. We've had a lot of rain leading into this event. Even earlier today, rain has just been gone. The track is really shaping up great. Sun's coming out. It's getting humid though, so that's going to be challenging. Also, it's the obstacles they have here. They've got some really steep uphills and downhills, and of course the sand whoop section down in Spring Creek, which is challenging for all the riders. But this is the time of year that if you've got it together and you're fit and the bike's working great, you can really put on some strong rides and propel yourself to the championship.
All right, well, that's what Jeff thinks of the track. Let's find out what the top 250 riders think of racing here at Spring Creek.
Millville is pretty good. It's got a nice start, so you know, horsepower will be a key there, and then it's got a lot of sand. So I think the better sand riders will definitely be better on the bottom half of the track, and then the other side has some hills and some big jumps and off-camber corners. So that's it gets rutted up and pretty rough, and I think that's just going to be where somebody gets a good start, and then you just got to be smart and ride your own race there.
It's got some fun jumps where you can kind of style that a little bit, and I don't know, I just really liked it. I think it flows really nice, and it just maybe kind of suits my riding style a little bit.
Yeah, all that comes to my mind right now is those whoops. You lean back and you go through them for about 5 minutes. It feels like you just hold back and you just go for it. So yeah, Spring Creek, it's a little bit sandy. It's got a kind of good mix of dirt, so that's definitely a good thing, but the whoops are just crazy there.
Those whoops really take it out on you though, hitting those whoops down and then turn and then back. That really takes it out on you, and takes a lot of energy also to hit them fast. And obviously a lot of guys jump them, but I think it's faster just to get off the back and just hang it out down there.
Let's give you the race breakdown here with our Motocross 411. We will race 2 motos this afternoon, 40 riders in each moto, and the races last 30 minutes and 2 laps. Then we combine the scores from those 2 races to determine an overall winner in the 250 class this afternoon from Minnesota. So that's the riders taking the track. That's our breakdown of how they will race. A couple other things to take care of. First of all, we'll show you exactly what this track looks like. And it's all brought to you by Kawasaki and the 2012 KX450F, fully equipped and race ready. Jeff Emig, take us on a tour of Spring Creek.
Well, like the guy said, it's got a nice, long, open start. It's a right-hander, so it makes it a little bit tough because it's hard to keep your right foot on the rear brake. Get down into this whoop section. Track now is dried out. I think the whoops are gonna be really fast. Of course, all that deep sand, it really pulls down the engines on these 250Fs here, so horsepower is gonna be key. Go up and down those hills, a couple of jump sections, the final uphill and downhill. Nice little tabletop over the Holy Schmidt and into the finish.
There's our GoPro lap. Take us through this section here, Jeff Emig.
Well, you notice track was really messy. This is actually an uphill double that the riders will be jumping. But earlier today in qualifying practice, they just could not get the drive up. You can see a little bit of rain here on the lens, but it is hot and it is humid and it's sunny out, and it is a beautiful afternoon here for racing.
Well, we had a great race earlier today in our 250 class Moto number 1. Let's give you the highlights here. Battling through the first turn, riders down right out of the gate. Kyle Cunningham and Dean Wilson are going to fight for the whole shot with a couple other riders just picking themselves out of the sand.
This class is so competitive, and it was great to see Cunningham on the Yamaha up there grab the start, but it didn't last long as Wilson was so determined to be out front.
So Wilson grabs the lead, then Rattray comes through, challenges Cunningham, and takes the number 2 spot away. A little bit further back. Here we go. Got the 19 of Eli Tomac making moves. He goes around Ryan Sipes on the number 25. Then a big crash for Justin Barsha. And report we're hearing is he broke his nose in that crash. That hurts. Sipes here in the 25 had some problems, and he started going backwards, got zapped by the 46 of Alex Martin, whose parents own this track. Yeah, he definitely has some friends and family here cheering him on. Late in the race, Rattray in the 28 would catch Wilson in a battle for the lead. Wilson would just hang on by 0.6 of a second for the victory after 30 minutes and 2 laps of battle. So now we're ready to set it up again and go racing in Moto 2. Dean Wilson has the Moto 1 win over Tyler Rattray and Blake Baggett. So it was 1-2-3 Kawasaki again. Will it be 1-2-3 again? And even if so, will it be the same order? We're about to find out. Another one of the Yamahas with another great start. They've been pulling them in every moto.
And did you see where Justin Barsha was? Had to line up on the inside. He was second around the first turn, almost with the whole shot.
It's Cunningham in the 35 leading. Rattray is on your left. Barsha is on your right. And Barsha, by the way, yes, broke his nose in the first moto. We didn't even think we'd see him out here. Rattray going after Cunningham for the lead.
Wow, look how much these sand whoops have sped up for Moto 1 for these 250Fs. Allow them to really track through this and carry their momentum. But how about Cunningham, DNA Shred Sticks, Yamaha out front? These Cosworth engines they've got working. Somebody's been doing their work during the week, and I think it's the Yamaha boys because they are definitely on fire here today.
Yeah, unbelievable. The starts that team has been pulling. I don't know where Dean Wilson came from, but he is now up to third on the 15 behind Rattray, who is in second. Well, it's Alex Martin up in the number 4 spot. Yeah, how about that for the home track kid? Let's give you the Rocky Mountain ATV MC keys to the race for Amart.
Yeah, use his home track knowledge. He did in Moto 1, all the way inside the top 10 after being out. Dominate the whoops. Let's see what sort of technique he has down through there. And of course, he knows how to handle this. He's been in this situation before. Got Ryan Sipes. That's Cunningham's teammate on the Yamaha behind him. So once again, a bunch of Yamahas up there on the start. And look at this. Cunningham beginning to pull away just a bit from Rattray. Halfway through this lap, it looked like Rattray wanted to make the move. Now in the latter stages of it, the 35 getting away, then it's Wilson. And nowhere in sight is Blake Baggett, the man who won the last 2 rounds of this series. Yeah, but this is around the second turn area. But Wilson sits down in the wrong spot. He was really fortunate that it only popped up a little bit and not forward. 5 overalls. Runner-ups.
Yeah, he's sick of that. Now, we got the first moto win. But how about Alex Martin? You're challenging Wilson to try to get up into the top 3 early.
Just at the top of your screen. A couple of turns ago, Martin was right on Wilson. Come down that section. That's where Barsha went down hard in Moto 1. Great to see him back on the bike again.
Headed toward those infamous sand whoops, and Rattray, who almost took the lead through here a lap ago, is going to try it again.
Tries around the outside and see how you kind of get down in, and then the bike compresses. I think he's got it, Weege.
And he's going to shut the door on Cunningham, take the line away. He does have it, Jeff. So Rattray into the lead. Wilson in third is going to have to respond. Wilson won the first moto. Doesn't want to give any of those points back here in our second race.
I'll tell you, Wilson, he needs to make the move on Cunningham quick. Okay, unless Cunningham could stay on the rear fender here of Rattray.
Well, so far he has. He's not a roadblock. He is running the pace for certain. And I don't know if this is really a surprise anymore. Cunningham has been very strong and consistent the last couple of weeks, and he's right in the mix.
Oh, Wilson almost gets on the outside of that berm.
Cunningham trying to come back on Rattray. Out of it to make it happen, but forget about holding off Wilson for second. He wants to lead.
I tell you, Weeds, this track at this time of day, it's so difficult, but when you're on and your bike is working good, the engine's crisp, the chassis, you know, is just smooth, and you feel comfortable, you can really lay it down here at this track.
There's Wilson back there in third, looking for running room. He still has Martin behind him in fourth. But Kyle Cunningham is the one, at least early, to try to break up this Kawasaki domination at the top of the charts. But you know Wilson is going to be strong late in this race. Same for Rattray. We'll see if the 35 of Cunningham can stay with these guys all the way to the end, because it is hot today and it is rough on this track. Wilson closing back up now to the rear wheel of Cunningham.
Yeah, and in case you're wondering, Baggett, 21st last lap around.
Wow.
The other Pro Circuit teammate, Tickle, he runs in 10th. They had 4 riders inside of the top 6 in Moto 1. Now the riders are a little bit scattered, but they still have the #1 spot.
We're headed to the sand whoops again. Rattray got around Cunningham the last time around. Let's see if Wilson is able to do the same thing to Cunningham this time, Jeff.
Wide line. Let's see if it works out for him. He's got some momentum on the outside.
And he's going to try the same exact thing, and he makes it work. So Dean Wilson into second. Did he watch Rattray do that?
Maybe they talked about it, you know, we'll see. But the bottom line is Wilson now is in the position to challenge for the lead.
All right, we've got a great setup, and you know Cunningham's going to give it everything he has to keep those two in sight. Lots to see and do here at Millville. Speed's coverage of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship is brought to you by Lucas Oil. Made in America, sold to the world. By the 2011 Toyota Tundra, one of the most capable half-tons ever. And by RockyMountainMC.com, your one-stop shop for parts, apparel, and accessories. RockyMountainMC.com. Get ready. We have got the perfect scenario here at Millville in the 250 class Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. The 28, Tyler Rattray in the lead. The 15 of Dean Wilson in second, and looking to take the lead from him. Jason Wygant, Jeff Emig, Aaron Bates calling the action here. And it is some action. Look at Wilson.
Wilson really using that tall stature of his to gain some leverage going through the sand whoops. Wow, he is really applying the pressure to his teammate Tyler Rattray. They're turning 208s. Everyone else is a 210 or above. So they're flying right now.
Yeah, they're going to probably put a little distance. As you can see, Cunningham, the third place rider, has dropped about a second and a half behind them. They have definitely pushed the pace once these two got into first and second.
Well, you got to think that through these tight, rutted corners here, the slower section, Rattray seems to may have a little bit of the advantage. But when you get to the sand whoops, Dean Wilson is on it. He is really carrying some momentum around the outside.
Now, so far, so good. Right, they've all got better sections. Watch Brock Tickle here in the replay. The whoops, definitely a bad section for him. So he goes down. Tickle right now just trying to stay inside the top 10. He was 8th at the end of the previous lap. Losing a little ground now. And as for Blake Baggett, the fourth member of the team, he is up to 15th after a terrible start. Going to lose a lot of points in the series unless he can somehow at least make it up around the top 5.
Yeah, and of course in the first moto, Baggett was third, put on a pretty strong ride to get up to third, and Tickle, a great ride up into 6th. So this is definitely going to be tough for them to get some top 5 overalls when the day is done.
Cunningham still third. Great ride for the kid out of Texas. But a podium at our race in Texas at Freestone Raceway.
Very similar type track, at least it's the section that he's in right now. Resembled Texas quite a bit. I think the way that the ruts have shaped up and the turns, similar soil.
There's Alex Martin, the home track specialist. Literally, his parents own the track. Now, if you're thinking he has an unfair advantage, yeah, he did grow up racing here, but most of the year he does not live in Millville. That's where his family is, but you want to be a motocross racer, you got to escape the harsh Minnesota winters for most of the months of the year. So he spends a lot of time in Florida, Georgia, California. It's kind of a homecoming for him. Here's Barsha. Give this guy a Tough Man Award. Aaron, what are you hearing on the number 17?
Tough Man Award for sure for Justin Barsha and Eli Tomac, actually. The Geico Honda team had a tough luck during that first moto. We witnessed Barsha go down. He broke his nose. He decided last second that he was going to line up for the second moto, and Eli Tomac pulled off just 2 laps to go during that first moto. Wasn't feeling well, but he opted to be back out here racing again.
And Tomac is in 14th, just trying to score some points. That's just the way it has gone for this Geico Honda team this summer. Not get any momentum.
It's been difficult, and they've rotated some riders in and out, like Lance Vincent. They have Will Hahn back, and their teammate Hahn right now is actually he's not having a good moto.
He is in 10th. Darren Durham.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Darren Durham has, on this privateer Honda, really turned in some great rides. Been a consistent top 10 guy. Has had a couple of top 5s. Here he is challenging Barsha to try to get into the top 5. And now we've got the 156 of Jason Anderson. We finally found Jason Anderson. By the way, we just found the 57 of Blake Baggett as well. So Baggett is moving toward the top 10. Here's the 139 of Malcolm Stewart. So he is 7th. Stewart on the Suzuki City ARMA back machine. Then behind him is Anderson. And Anderson and Stewart are both rookies. It's been a pretty good rookie year for Malcolm here. Been a pretty bad rookie year for Anderson, who will come through next. And in fact, his team decided to let him take a few weeks off so he would get a month worth of training without having to travel to the races. And he looks to have rebounded a lot better here at Millville. Now we go to Baggett, who is in the number 9 spot. So Anderson is 8th, Baggett is 9th. This guy won the last 2 races overall. Today, he's just trying to score some points. Definitely not going to win the overall. So we'll see how far up through the field the 57 can go. Can he even get to the top 5? It's going to be tough. That's some fast riders in the spots in front of him. Tyler Rattray continues to lead here at Millville, but it is on. Not too far back, his teammate Dean Wilson. Wilson just made a mistake, and that allowed Rattray to pull it back out. Wednesday night, the car show with Adam Carolla is all new. AC/DC's Brian Johnson races a Lamborghini through New York City, and the boys give some driving lessons to some beautiful students. So don't miss the car show Wednesday night, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on Speed. Debut episode of that show just a couple of days ago. It was awesome. Excited about episode number 2. Trying to teach some girls how to drive a Dodge Viper. Ride Lamborghinis to New York City. And how about Dean Wilson? Every time we think that he's got this figured out, Rattray's able to respond and pull back away.
Wilson's starting to get a little momentum, a line over that single. Taking a look back to 3rd here, Cunningham has put in a pretty strong ride. He's running some 210s right now. It's not bad at all. Leader Rattray was a 207 and Wilson a 208, but Cunningham really hanging in there. But look at Martin now with that outside line. His teammate Durham, who has been the star 1110 mods rider this season, getting outshined here by the local boy, Alex Martin.
So Martin's 4th, Durham is 5th, right behind him Barsha, and right behind them is Stewart and then Baggett. So we got 4 riders. That is 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and they are all in the same exact section of the track. Here comes Baggett, and he's going to make a move around Stewart in an area I've never seen someone make a pass on this track.
Wow, Baggett just had the momentum there. Now he goes by Barsha. Pretty easy down the downhill.
We are finally seeing the Blake Baggett we expect.
Is the Chupacabra sighting?
Yes, folks, and it is real. And no surprise, we're seeing it at about the 15-minute mark. That's when he likes to make his charge. He's about to pass 3 riders in 3 turns. How does he do this?
Wow, he is on rails now, right at the 15-minute mark, plus 2 laps to go. That's incredible. Puts him up into 4th place.
Well, our question was, could he get to the top 5? Not an issue anymore. Now we'll see if he can track down Martin for that 4th place spot. So he's 5th. salvaging points. And that's what it's all about on a day like today for Baggett, who did have a big crash not that long ago. Aaron, I was talking about it earlier on when we covered our first moto earlier today. Had a crash. There was a rumor that he had broken his collarbone. Turned out he was okay, at least no broken bones, but did miss some riding and training time leading up to this race. Wow. See the way he just hit that corner?
Halfway, 8 seconds.
Well, we'll see, because the bad news for him is that Cunningham has done a good job of trying to keep Wilson and Rattray in sight. That's your third place rider. So Baggett's going to have to try to catch Martin, this man, on the 46, and then Cunningham if he wants a spot on the podium in this race. But Martin and Cunningham have been tough. So far, they have hung with the leaders. They've kept them in sight, and look at the gap they've built.
Baggett, excuse me, I said he was 4th earlier. Martin's 4th, Baggett's 5th. Last time around, Martin was a 2:11.9, so right at a 2:12. Baggett a 2:08 flat, 4 seconds. Last lap, he was 4 seconds quicker than Martin, so let's see if he can chip away that 8-second lead that Martin has.
All right, so here is Baggett, and he came in here 2nd in the points. He was only 2 points ahead of his teammate Rattray, and then they were tied at the end of Moto 1. And he might lose a few more here, but he's going to do his best to minimize the damage. There you see the gap between Martin and Baggett.
Yeah, it was about the distance of that downhill from corner to corner. But one thing that Baggett looks like he's doing is he's found some great lines. He's finding some smooth lines and really getting some drive. It looks like to me he's taking totally different lines than our leaders have been running. But hey, Rattray just turned a 2:06 last lap around. Wow. So Rattray has wicked it up.
And the gap 4 seconds now between Rattray and Wilson. So we'll focus in here on Baggett as he tries to focus in on Martin and Cunningham, who are the 2 riders in front of him. And each position he can get represents 2 huge championship points. All the point scenarios are big as we reach the second half of the year, and you have 3 riders, Baggett, Wilson, Rattray, battling for this championship. But how about Alex Martin? Earlier today in our 450 class, Minnesota's own Ryan Dungey won. And let's see if Martin can make these fans happy as well. At least put that machine up in the top 5. That would be impressive for a rider who does not have the backing of one of the big teams. This 11-10 mod squad, what they've been able to do with Martin and Durham this summer. It's one of the best stories of the year. I don't think Baggett's impressed by that.
Baggett's rocking right now, though. 2:10 last lap, Martin a 2:12.
So we might have a battle for 4th when we return here to Spring Creek as Rattray tries to hold Wilson at bay. Speed's coverage of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship is brought to you by Progressive Insurance, #1 in motorcycle insurance. Tyler Rattray in the 28 is putting a sprint down here in the second half of this race. It's a 30-minute race. We are reaching the 2/3 mark as you see 10 minutes to go and then 2 laps after that. And he's trying to wheelie away from his teammate, Dean Wilson.
Let's take a look at the progressive hole shot here. 40 riders barreling down into a right-hander. Inside, Barsha almost has it. But it's the Yamaha of Cunningham that's going to come out with the hole shot, #1 spot.
Yeah, and he held the lead for a few laps. Eventually, Rattray was able to get behind the sand whoops. Dean Wilson followed him. He got into 2nd, and for a while, Wilson was right there keeping the pressure on. But now you see the gap. There's Wilson with the red number plate. That signifies he is your series leader. Wilson is now 6.4 seconds back. So if there's one thing you knew you could count on with Rattray, it was fitness and just overall toughness late in the motos, and that is paying off here. Yeah, pretty big distance back to Cunningham, Jeff.
Yeah, Cunningham logged a 2:12.7 last lap around, dropped off the lead about 22 seconds. Rattray at a 2:08 though, had a 2:07 just before that.
Here it is, Martin on the outside, too far outside. He goes off the track, and that's going to allow Baggett to take over the #4 position. What's the old phrase there? Just a bit outside.
Yeah.
Was Martin's line to do there. So Baggett says, thanks, I didn't even have to eat any sand kicked up from that back tire. So he's picked up 2 more points in the series by moving from 5th to 4th. Martin still in the top 5, though. That's a great run.
7th in Moto 1.
Yeah. This kid's been a pro for a couple of years. He's capable of these types of rides. Follow the Rocky Mountain ATV MC keys to the race here, Jeff. This is what Alex Martin needed to do.
Yeah, he's used the local knowledge. He found some great lines earlier. Dominate the whoops a little bit, and he actually found the smoothest line that anyone has found through the sand whoops, although he was outside of the track markers. I'm sure right now, though, under his helmet, he's awfully hot because it is hot and humid out here today.
All right, show us what happened here. Baggett on the left and Martin on the right on the 46.
Yeah, he had a line coming down three or 4 feet from the track markers, but he got a little squirrely there as he was really trying to hold off the charge of Baggett. Goes off the track.
All right, so he is in 5th. Man, has he got to work to stay on top of that bike, got to track this rough.
Well, that's when the suspension, chassis setup, so important right now because your body's not feeling so good. Muscles are starting to weaken, heart rate's maxed out, starting to feel a little pain from lactic acid buildup in your body.
Here's Cunningham in 3rd. He is the last remaining obstacle to Baggett coming from outside the top 20 to try to put it in the top 3. And I want to ask you one more thing. Some people talk about suspension fade. Is that something that the bikes at this level deal with? And also, what is that?
I don't think so. You know, not these days. I mean, if it does, it's pretty small. But the fade you're talking about is when the suspension components heat up and oil gets a little thinner and the dampening doesn't work quite as well as it would. So the bike would really loosen up. And if you're, you know, if bike maybe be a little more springy, a little softer, a little quicker on the rebound. But overall, I mean, you can see Baggett, he's on the move right now. Turned to 209. Cunningham was at 215 last lap around. They were only about 4 seconds apart. So this race here is really going to tighten up. And Cunningham is the last line of defense here to keep Pro Circuit from going 1, 2, 3 in each moto.
We'll see how much Cunningham here in the blue has left to fight Baggett off with, and unfortunately, he's got to do it for quite some time. 6.5 minutes and then 2 laps left in this moto, and the way Baggett is catching him, you got to figure he'll be up to that rear wheel soon and applying pressure, and then we'll see if Cunningham can hold him at bay. Still been a great run for Cunningham the last few weeks. This great run, though, might have come to an end. Malcolm Stewart through the whoops here on the left on the 139.
Yeah, he's trying to get past Audette there on the Yamaha, but just stuffs the front wheel going in. You notice he kind of gets his left foot caught under the bars there. Might have twisted that left knee or something.
Yeah, cannot get out. So he has lost a bunch of positions, did Stewart, who was in 8th. He's battling it out with Audette. Here's Baggett going after Cunningham to try to get to 3rd. We'll see if he can get him as they deal with a rough track, lap riders, hot and humid conditions. What else is there to fight off today? Speed's coverage of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship is brought to you by Kawasaki and the 2012 KX450F. Fully equipped and race ready. Tyler Rattray pulling away from Dean Wilson. It is now a 14-second gap. And we all knew that this guy would be tough, he'd be strong, he'd be fit. And he has proven it on one of the roughest tracks of the year. Hot, humid conditions, late in the race is where he has done the damage.
He likes to call it heat down in South Africa hot. But I don't think it's going to be that hot for him here today, but it certainly is hot and humid, and that his preparation has shown. He got out front, wasn't pressured by Dean Wilson when Dean was trying to apply the pressure. He never cracked. Still turning a 2:10. Baggett, the only other rider with that good of lap time, and it's been a pretty impressive ride here for Rattray, who sat 3rd in points coming into this. Looks like he's going to pick up a spot and possibly leave here in 2nd in points, 1 step closer to Wilson.
And a nice bounce back. Rattray had the points lead just a few weeks ago and then had a bunch of bad motos. Crashed and had bad starts Colorado. Had a bad start in the first moto last week at Redbud. Was able to rebound with a solid second moto and then maybe a win here. Meanwhile, we'll find out more what's happening with this team. Aaron, what do you hear on the 15?
Dean Wilson Wilson is doing everything in his power in order to get that first overall of the season. It doesn't look likely at this point, but what he did during his week off, he rode a 450 in order to change up his style and his riding technique a little bit, get himself a little bit more comfortable. So they're doing everything they can just to get any additional edge.
Well, it's both frustrating and not frustrating, Jeff, because through this all, he is the series points leader, which at the end of the year, that's the ultimate goal, to win the championship. But this would be the 6th consecutive second-place finish. How do you not get bummed, even though you're the points leader, to come so close, but you still not get a win? How do you avoid getting frustrated? Because really everything he's doing is right.
Yeah, and that would be the thing, you know, win the championship is the goal, but you got to think that you got to win some overalls along the way, because there is bonuses for the riders for the overalls from the manufacturers and their sponsors. Plus, there is some incentive to win the overall. That's your name gets in the record book as the overall winner. Those are things that we count. There's really no difference in points, because our championship points are based off of each moto. Of course, if you win the overall, you have the most points, and that's best towards the championship, but it's kind of a pride thing too. You want to win that OA.
So as we watch Baggett, who has made the move on Cunningham to get to 3rd, how quickly things can change. At our last race, Wilson was frustrated with the kind of speed that Baggett was throwing down. Now it's Rattray who Wilson is trying to match. Let's go back to this 3rd place battle. There's Cunningham and there's Baggett, Jeff.
Around the outside here, and just carries a little more momentum there coming in. Doesn't hurt that Cunningham makes a small mistake on the exit. Really no chance after that. Baggett's been on the move, though. He's flying.
Start really did him in. Maybe we'll have to find out. I wouldn't be surprised if there was maybe a mistake or a crash early, because he was outside of the top 20 early in this moto. He put the classic Blake Baggett second half charge in, but it was way too far back and way too late to catch up to his teammates. Not the way they are riding today. Rattray and Wilson have been on it from the moment we dropped the gate. But still a good job by Baggett to salvage points. That has been his problem on the days where he hasn't been able to win. He has had terrible finishes. To go 3-3 on one of the off days is actually a sign of improvement. And you know he'll want to get his win streak back. We'll be racing 1 week from today at the beautiful Washougal Motocross Park in Washington. And we'll see these 3 men and more square off again. It seems like every week we have this class figured out of who's the fastest guy, and then they change it up. Today the answer may just be Tyler Rattray. We'll see if he can stay there in the #1 spot.
Which was the 125 two-stroke back in the days, was won by Ron Lachine, the Dogger, on a Yamaha back in 1983.
I think he was 17 years old, I think, at the time.
Quite a bit different. And of course, one of the local legends here, Donnie Schmidt, gave Suzuki a win here in '87 and backed it up with another win in '88, so pretty impressive.
Yeah, and Schmidt, a local product, a Minnesota rider, and they've actually named one of the jumps after him. Rattray will be there in a couple of moments. We'll point that jump out. They call it the Holy Schmidt in honor of the late Donnie Schmidt. And he was a multi-time world champion in Europe. Speaking of that, Rattray has a world championship in Europe of his own. Spent a lot of years battling for that, and once he won it, checked that off the career to-do list, and then immediately moved to the United States. Struggled in 2009 here, had a great year last year, finished 2nd in the series behind Trey Kennard in the final standings. And this year he wants to be champion when it's all over. And with rides like this, he might just get it done, but it's going to be tough battling it out with Wilson and Baggett. There is the Holy Schmidt jump, and here is the white flag. 1 lap to go for Rattray. A lot of people were wondering, man, once this guy got the points lead, it started to fall apart. He couldn't get starts, hit a couple of crashes. Wilson and Baggett were getting the drop on him. Whatever he did during that week off was right, because he has responded today.
14.2 seconds ahead of Wilson. Rattray just turned to 215. Obviously, you can see in his body language, he's backed off the pace quite a bit. Going to try to keep it on 2 wheels here, not do anything crazy and make any mistakes. But behind Wilson, Baggett, about another 16 seconds behind. But still, 1, 2, 3, both motos, pro circuit, Kawasaki.
Unbelievable. The level that this team has been on since they started in 1991. It'd be hard to believe that they could have a season unlike they've ever had before, but this might be the best yet. We've never seen 3 riders on this team battle for a championship. We've seen 2.
Yeah, and it's going to be great, great timing. This Wednesday, Kawasaki's actually having a celebration for Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, and all of their success with the Kawasaki 250 machine here. So, nice way to head into that event.
Well, to give you an idea of the stature of this team, Rattray, when he won his championship in Europe, was a KTM rider, and he had a big money deal from KTM to stay in Europe. But he said, I want to race in the United States, and I want to race for the Pro Circuit team. I want to ride for Mitch Payton. That's not how you negotiate if you want to make the big money. Like, he pretty much said, I don't care what you pay me. I want to ride for your team on your bikes. And they have gotten a lot of great riders because of that. The great ones come to them to ride for the team. It's not about money if you get on Pro Circuit. It's about getting on the team that has all the #1 plates if you want one of your own. And that's what Rattray wants.
Yeah, and this is the type of organization that you're, as a rider, you would be comfortable with. Taking massive bonuses, because you know you have the best equipment. If you believe in yourself, it's a great combination. You can make more money that way.
Well, Rattray's going to cash a nice check today on his green bike. He's earning the greenbacks because he is going to win here at Millville. And he is back after a couple of off weekends. Puts the machine into victory lane again. Made up some valuable points in the championship. We'll be back to talk to him in a moment. Welcome back. These broad shoulders had to handle a lot of pressure today. Dean Wilson brought it to Tyler Rattray, but Rattray was able to hold him off and take the victory today. We'll show you the Lucas Oil race recap on how it broke down. The 35 of Kyle Cunningham on the Yamaha's got the early lead. Rattray is determined. He goes around the outside, the long way around through the roughest section of this track, takes over the #1 spot.
Yeah, Rattray was on a mission here, and this is the local boy, Alex Martin, trying to hold off Blake Baggett, but couldn't keep the Honda on the track. And watch Baggett around the outside of Cunningham. So Cunningham gives up a position in the same spot to all 3 Pro Circuit riders.
Rattray hangs on. Wilson snuck into second around Cunningham pretty quick, kept the heat on the 28, but was not able to break him, not able to make the move. So that means Rattray's your winner, and he's on the podium with Aaron Bates.
Tyler Rattray managed to hold off his teammate Dean Wilson for quite some time. You didn't succumb to any of the pressure out there. Tyler, take us through all the suspension testing that you did last week. Did that really pay off here today?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's Bones works really hard, and we spent a lot of hours out at the test track, and I can't thank him enough. My bike was awesome, and we made a couple of changes for that second motor, and just worked perfect. And it was a good day. I need to close down that points gap to Dean, and we left Chatar. So got to keep working hard. I know my fitness is good, and just want to thank everyone from Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Spartan Limited, Thor, Vans, Volcom, all my buddies in South Africa, Mark, Sean, Jeff, Kuhn, and my wife, my mom, and my parents, and obviously Alden for having the best program out there.
Congratulations on a well-deserved victory today.
And we'll show you some of the upcoming events on this tour, our Toyota moving forward schedule. Going to be a big weekend for this series next weekend. Live on Speed, both our 450 class and 250 class. That's July 23rd, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And you do not want to miss that. Then we'll have a couple of weekends off for the big amateur extravaganza down at Loretta Lynn Ranch. Then the Pro Tour will resume on August 13th, upstate New York. Then we'll go to Southwick and then Steel City just outside of Pittsburgh. Of course, all your 250 races covered right here on Speed. That's your Toyota moving forward schedule. We'll be back to talk to more riders on the podium when we come back. Speed's coverage of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship is brought to you by Lucas Oil. Made in America, sold to the world. And by the 2011 Toyota Tundra, one of the most capable half-tons ever. Welcome back to Millville, Minnesota's Spring Creek Motocross Park. These fans got to watch some great racing today. Tyler Rattray comes out on top in the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship, and we'll show you the results of this race. Behind him, no surprise, his teammates. It's been 1, 2, 3 with these riders all year long, Wilson and Baggett. And then Cunningham, another solid run for fourth. I believe 4 fourth-place finishes in a row for him. Alex Martin, the home track hero, finishes in the top 5. Let's send it down to Aaron Bates on the podium.
The look on his face says everything. Dean Wilson, second place again. Dean, you've even rode the 450 to give yourself a little bit of a different riding style, a little technique. What else can you do to get the job done?
I think maybe hydrate a little bit better. I mean, I don't feel like I drank enough water yesterday, and you know, first moto I was dying after. I apologize to all my sponsors. I totally forgot, and I know it was a pretty bad speech, but I mean, it happens. I was just boiling, and you know, so for the second moto, you know, I did what I could, and I'm just happy to get a second. Tyler were amazing, and it sucks he's in such good shape because it's so tough, but you know, that's just what drives me and pushes me, and you know, hopefully I can get him, you know, next weekend, and you know, gain a couple points, so I can't complain with that. And you know, I just want to thank the sponsors I forgot in the first moto: Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Thor, Dunlop, Parts Unlimited, Scott, my mom and dad, my mechanic Paul, trainer Sam. Big shout out to Toyo Escondido for hooking me up with my truck. Everybody else, I may have forgot. Thank you.
Congratulations on a job well done today.
Now the good news for Wilson is he actually ties Rattray on points. The tiebreaker in the overall win goes to Rattray by virtue of the better second moto finish. But you see in the series standings, they each scored 47 points and they gained 7 on Baggett. Let's send it back down to Aaron with Blake Baggett.
Blake Baggett is making his way up onto the podium here. Third overall for the day. Blake, coming into today, you were extremely sore. Are you excited about the outcome of today?
No, I'm definitely not excited. Just bummed. Just shoulders hurting. From the crash during the week, just struggling. Hard to hold on. My hand went numb like 6 laps to go. So it's going to be a rough next 2 weeks. But, you know, 3-3's not bad. Some people would, you know, kill for this. But really like to go 1-1. Just go back home and work hard and try to get my shoulder 100%. But I got to give it up to my team: Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Thor, Parts Unlimited, Volcom, Vans, Track 6 RC cars, SoCal Super Trucks, my trainer Alden Baker, my mom, my dad, and my girlfriend Keely. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here.
Well, Blake Baggett, that's the one problem he has this year. Very little margin for error because he had a couple of bad races already. So when he loses 7 points like he did today, look at the damage. He is now 21 points back. You only gain 25 points if you win a whole moto. So he's nearly a whole moto back now. Wilson and Rattray are still close.
Yeah, and Cunningham leapfrogs Tomac there up into 4th.
All right, so impressive there. The consistency there. Fuel your passion for motorcycle racing with Speed Motorcycle Text Alerts. Powered by Yamaha. Get the latest moto racing results and breaking news sent to your phone as soon as they're available. Text MOTO to Speed 3 for the alerts now. For Aaron Bates and Jeff Emig, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for joining us at Spring Creek. Congratulations to your overall winner, the South African veteran, Tyler Rattray. Thanks for watching.